Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing the mid-year check-in tag. I was very kindly tagged by the lovely Victoria from What Victoria Read. I will link her video and her channel down below. I did the mid-year something tag. I can't remember what it is now, but I will link that one down below. This tag is going to be done kind of as an addition to that, and I'm going to try and not talk about the same things because some of the questions are similar, so I'll change my answers up if they are the same answers. Not that I can really remember that tag at this point, but I did do it, so hopefully it'll all work out. So the purpose of this tag is to kind of check in with your goals, see how you're doing halfway through the year. It's a little bit later than halfway through the year by the time I'm filming this, but it will still be useful to me. I do my own stats and goal check-ins, which I should have done every 3 months, but I'm doing every 4 months, so one of those will be coming in September, and that also helps me track my goals. But I'm a very tracking person. I like lists and I like making bullet journal spreads and keeping on top of things, so this tag is right up my street. So the first question is nice and easy. It is, how many books have you read this year so far? As of filming, I have read 115 books this year, which is I'm so thrilled with. My goal for the year was 100. Last year I read 128, I think, something around that. So I'm already almost surpassing what I read last year, which I'm just so happy with. I think BookTube has helped a lot with that. I'm a lot more I don't necessarily read more, but I feel more motivated to kind of get through books. And also my reading speed has definitely increased, I think purely through practice, which is fantastic. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with how many books I've read this year so far. The next question is, what's your favourite book of the year so far? This is tough. I think I have 4 5-star reads so far this year, which again, I surpassed how many I had last year because I think I only had 2 or 3. I'm going to talk about the one that I think has become a permanent favourite, and that is Radio Silence by Oseman. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I have talked about it a lot on my channel since reading it because I'm kind of obsessed. But this is a book about a girl called Frances, and she is doing her A-levels, which if you're from America is like pre-college kind of study, and she's got the goal of going to university, but she meets this boy in a non-romantic way and she starts to question what she's passionate about and whether the path she's going down is the right path for her. This is just so much relatable content in this book. It speaks to me on a deep, meaningful level, and I just want everyone in my life to read it now because I have a lot of friends who are similar to me, and I know that this book will resonate with them the way it resonated with me, and yeah, it's just, I love it so much. Next question is, what's the most disappointing book you've read so far this year? This is interesting because at the end of the year I actually do most disappointing videos, and they're different. They're not my worst rated books, they're the books that I had high expectations for and they didn't live up to those expectations. So for this isn't a book that I hate, although I didn't really enjoy this one very much, but it's Growing Things by Tremblay. This is a collection of short horror stories, and they're all just kind of bad. I'll link my blog post down below and you can see my detailed breakdown of why they're terrible. But essentially they were too self-referential to the author's works and they didn't stand on their own as good stories. And even if you understood the references, I don't think that they would be good stories. So that was a real disappointment. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, so it's not the worst book I've read so far this year, but I didn't expect to not like it, and I didn't. Next question surprised me because it's what is your most read genre? And I knew it'd be thriller, and it is thriller, but I've only read 34 thrillers, which out of 115 books is a much smaller percentage than I thought it would be. My next highest is horror. I think I've read about 25 horror books. So I don't know what I've been reading. What are the other books made up out of? Like, yeah, that caught me off guard. That was a bit of a surprise. So it is thriller, as expected, but I thought I'd read more than that, and I haven't, which is interesting. The next question is, who is your new favourite author of the year so far? This one I don't have an answer for. I'm really bad, and this I think I don't know if I actually did a video or I just wanted to do a video at the start of the year where I was gonna make it one of my goals to read more books by authors that I've loved, because I'm really bad at reading. Like, I'll really enjoy an author and then I just won't pick up another book by them for ages, even though that's what I should do because I liked one of their books, so I'll probably like their other books. So I don't think I've read any authors that are new to me this year that I've had multiple books from. So I'm gonna say I suspect Alice Oseman will be one of these. I've now bought all of her books apart from Heartstopper, which I do really want. I might ask for that for my birthday, but I haven't read any of the others apart from Radio Silence. I suspect she'll be one of my new favourite authors when I read the others, because I've only heard praise about them and I've heard that they're similar, like it's kind of similar to the reasons why people love Radio Silence, but I don't have a definite answer for this. The next question is, which book was surprisingly good in 2019, which again, I do a similar video at the end of the year where I talk about my most surprising books in terms of the ones I didn't think I would enjoy as much, and I did really enjoy. I've got 2 answers for this, so I'll only talk about them briefly. The first one is The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda. This is a thriller. I read another book by Megan Miranda. I read All the Missing Girls and I really, really didn't like it. And this really surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. And it's about a woman who is living with her friend, and her friend goes missing, and then a man gets murdered, and the police think that she did it because they think that her friend never existed, and she's basically trying to prove that her friend did exist. The other one was maybe more of a surprise, and that was Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. This is a young adult thriller, and it's about 3 girls who were obsessed with this book, and they wrote a fan fiction for this book. And in the fanfiction, someone died, and then one of the 3 girls died in that way, and they thought that the other 2 girls did it. And then the stuff going on in the modern day, that's all thriller-esque. The reason that this was such a big surprise is because I've read quite a few books by Lauren Oliver, and I never really liked any of them. And also it's a young adult thriller, and I read every single young adult thriller I've read pretty much I love the sound of, and they sound really interesting, and they're always disappointing. But this was really good. It also had really bad reviews, like no one seems to enjoy this book on Goodreads or anything, but I really, really liked it, so that was a very, very pleasant surprise, and I'm very glad that I ignored all of the reasons not to read it, and I read it anyway, and I enjoyed it. I feel like sometimes with the books I pick, maybe not my booktube friends, but my real life friends are always like, why, particularly my partner who bears the brunt of my complaining, is like, why did you choose to read that book if you thought that you wouldn't like it? And Broken Things proves why I choose to read those books, because I always hope that I'll enjoy a book going into it. I don't read books that I don't think I'm gonna make me happier, so it's always nice. I always want to take that risk because I don't take that long to finish books, and I would rather take that risk and find a book that I love than not read it and risk missing out on it. This question is, what is your favourite 2019 release so far, and which is your most anticipated one that hasn't been released yet? So my favourite I really struggled with until recently, and that is The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. This is a thriller. I gave it 5 stars. It's about a woman who wakes up in a hospital bed, and she is a robot that her husband has created of his dead wife. She died 5 years ago, and I don't want to say anything more about the plot than that. Just read it, it's so good. It's got so much going on, and I was gripped the entire time. There were twists that not only I didn't see coming, but they made me more excited to carry on reading, which was fantastic. That's what a good twist should do. And yeah, it was just a really good time. And for my most anticipated, I have a whole video which I will link down below. I do it every 3 months for my most anticipated releases for the next 3 months. But the one that springs to mind immediately is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the 3rd book in the Scythe series. I can't really say anything about the plot. You can look it up if you're interested. I've talked about it a fair bit before. But It's like a science fiction dystopian series. The Toll is the third book. I loved the second book so much. I wasn't that impressed with Scythe, but Thunderhead was so good, and it ended in a way that just changed everything. So now I really want to read the third one. I've got to reread the first two. If anyone wants to buddy read them with me, that would be great. I need extra motivation with the kind of fantasy books, but I want to reread them before The Toll comes out. The next question is, what is your big TBR priority for the rest of the year? I recently did a huge TBR clear out because my Goodreads TBR was at like 1,200 books. I think it's around 1,000 now, which is still insane, don't get me wrong. But I basically went through every single book that I had on that, and I cleared out all the ones that I wasn't super excited about. If you can't tell, I like the sound of a lot of books. And then from this I have made lists, which I might turn into another video. Let me know down below if you think that sounds interesting, because I'm not really sure if I want to actually make it a video or not. But I basically chose 5 books from every genre that I was most excited for out of that 1,000 books or so. And my goal is to read all of them now by the end of the year. I did some videos, or I don't think I actually made the ones that I'm not doing anymore into videos, but I did some lists in my bullet journal of my TBRs, and I'm kind of abandoning those ones and I'm replacing them with these top 5 lists. But my goal is to read all of them by the end of the year, which I think I should be able to do. And then I'll do the same for 2020. The next question is, what is your bookish highlight of the year? Mine just has to be BookTube, Book Twitter in general. I'm going to get a little bit sappy here, and I don't do it enough because I have social anxiety and I feel awkward about just randomly doing it. But I have so many friends that I absolutely love, and every single kind comment or word that they say, it just makes me so happy. And to have that kind of kindness from people that I don't know in real life is just baffling to me in a really lovely way. So thank you all, people who I've made friends with, people who've reached out to me, who I've done buddy reads with. You know who you all are. I love you all so much, and your words really do mean a lot to me, and I'm gonna try and be better at promoting the people that I love and getting more involved as I'm quitting my job soon, so I'll be less, well, I say that I'm starting a PhD, but I'll be more in control of my own schedule, so I'll be able to control BookTube better and actually organise it and make it a real part of my life instead of trying to fit it around things, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, thank you so much for all you lovely people, and I'm just excited to be making new friends all the time and talking about books, and it's all lovely. Yeah, now I'm meant to tag some people. I'm not going to tag anyone specifically, but if you haven't done this tag yet and you would like to, then please do. I'm not sure who's done it at this point because it's quite late in the year, but I always want, like, I think it's some really interesting questions, and like some of my answers surprised me, so do it if you want. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively, and I hope to see you next time.